So I'm not really a morning person. The times when my schedule is so consistent and dialed in, where I am waking up in the mornings consistently and doing my thing, I feel great, but often I'm not in that paradigm all the time. Usually I thrive in nighttime hours, and I say that, but it doesn't necessarily work. But this morning was a particularly good morning for me. Got out of bed immediately, got my things done, my routine in order, and now, starting off the day right, we're going to be reacting to some Dave Matthews Band. We've got 3 tracks to check out today. First is The Space Between, then Rooftop, and lastly, Monsters. Honestly, I couldn't think of a better way to start off my morning than with some Dave Matthews Band. And today, that is all thanks to Craig the Loyal for making this request today. As always, Craig, it is much appreciated and helps guide the direction for the reactions I do over here. But now, let's jump in.
Can I quit so quickly? There's no hope in you for me. No corner you could squeeze me. I got all the time for you, love.
I almost thought he was playing bass for a second. Oh, I'm liking the melody already.
Laughter keeps us coming back for more. The space between our wicked lies is where we hope to keep you safe from the pain. But when I hold you again,
cool rhythm from Carter.
Confuse me like will it rain today? Waste the hours with talking. It's twisted games we're playing.
The lovely ladies, and also I love Leroy dripped out here.
Twisted games we're playing. We're strange allies with warring hearts. What a wild-eyed beast you be. The space between our wicked lies is where we hope to keep safe from the pain.
Wow, the space between the wicked lies we tell one another. It's basically the truth, the space between the lies. But it's interesting to then make the standout points the lies themselves. Presumably there's a lot of space between the lies. That's the ideal, but really we shouldn't lie if we can help it. You know, there's that whole logic of like maybe white lying is a reasonable approach depending on the situation. And I think I can be amenable to that kind of logic, but all in all, I think honesty is an extremely important value to uphold. So obviously in the context of a relationship, when you are kind of, I guess, knowingly keeping information to yourself, you're shielding the relationship from the inevitable, which is pain and potentially change. It doesn't necessarily mean it will come apart, but it will be painful, at least in the interim.
But will I hold you again? Will I hold? Look at the spinning up and the madness of a roller coaster.
Wow, the argument, right?
Like the devil in a church in the middle of a crowded room. All I can do, my love, is over. Don't diminish him down.
Loving this track. Loving the melody, the vibe, the melody in the chorus. Is where you'll find me hiding if I get to go. The space between the bullets in the firefight is where I'll be hiding, waiting for you. The rain that falls, splashing your heart. Love the Lovely ladies' vocals here. It's a beautiful backdrop against Dave's voice. Perfect vibe for the morning, man.
A space between what's wrong and right.
The gray area, right? And the nuance of the conversation.
Space between your heart and mine.
What keeps us separated is not foraying into the truth. I love this. So much poetry in these lyrics. And the horns, the sax, even Boyd, everybody contributing to this melody. Oh, and slowing it down, right? Opening up that space, staying in there longer. Beautiful song already. I'm very happy to start off the morning with Dave Matthews. I mean, you could pretty much say that any single morning, and that would be a fair statement, but it is especially true this morning. I like the idea of just the space between these contentious moments, in a relationship, in arguments and disagreements, because that is where you can kind of rid yourself of all the emotions. And if you've ever been, I assume you guys have been in arguments in the past, but to make the point, if you've ever been in an argument where things are very heated, things that shouldn't be said are being said, lies, offensive statements, whatever it may be, but then there's like a moment of calm where like somebody just cracks a dumb joke, or you guys both like are exhausted, you rid yourself of all of that negative emotion, you're just kind of in a neutral place despite the context surrounding you being in that heated conversation. That is almost an example of the space between, and you can feel it as it's happening. It's like, oh my God, it could just be nothing in my brain right now. Even though we had a lot of emotion surrounding this, it could just be calm and tranquil and easy, and not that being exhausted is the tantamount example of being at ease. But the point remains, you have to kind of reach these contentious moments to reach these levels of calm as well. And if you're foregoing certain difficult conversations, you're also then avoiding the possible tranquility that could exist between the two of you. And let's say even the relationship doesn't work out for whatever reasons, you can still find inner peace within the self after the fact, rather than like holding on to that internally and then letting it kind of spew out at a later date. I think leading with the truth, at least in my own experience, has always given me more respite, has made me feel more mentally clear, despite it being hard emotionally and sometimes feeling that attachment to the outcome. Like, what if they abandon me? What if this relationship no longer works out? But what matters more is you both are authentic with one another rather than putting up facades. So I say welcome the fights, welcome the disagreements, and then handle them in respectful ways. And then going forward, you can amend the parameters of how you have disagreements and discussions, so that on a long enough time horizon, when disagreements inevitably happen, they can happen in healthier ways with less lies, with less vitriol, and maybe you can find more space between and make that your norm rather than the lies and the fighting. Let's jump into the next one. Rooftop. I love rooftop bars and lounges and venues where I get to see a lot of like a cityscape or just nature. I love being on top of stuff. That could be clipped out of context.
Standing on a rooftop, all these people watching. It's hard to find the words when you got so far to fall. Just trying to keep a secret, never tell a soul, no, no. Take another drink, so
bartender, please. Oh, swag. All the swag. Oh, the drumming.
If I was a winner.
You know, this is already so different than the studio version that we heard, because in the studio it's more like radio friendly, less of the live quality that we know Dave Matthews Band for. And already with Carter doing what he's doing, the slow moving feel in the sax and even Dave's vocal delivery, this is why Dave Matthews Band are as acclaimed. It's because of their lives. At least in this song, I prefer the live already.
Cut the cards and deal them. Buy a great big house where we could disappear. But you find yourself a sweet spot that people wanna get some. You're just another dead man trying to fool the world.
Yeah. It's like this section has been extended, right? Allowed to breathe a little more. Who's singing the harmony? Is it Rashawn? Just small note, but I love seeing the reactions of the audience, seeing how into it people are. Like this gentleman here drumming. It's like reactionception. Fall until we fly. I love that line. Oh yeah, empty it out. This is the space between now. The space between all the cool stuff, but the space is cool too. Oh wow. Just swaggy, bro.
I want you to tell me that you want me. I want you to tell me that you want me.
Dude, the electric guitar. I should have been paying more attention to that.
I want you to tell me that you want me.
Yeah, Tim.
I want you to tell me that you want me. I want you to
Carter.
tell me that you want me.
Oh yeah, let her rip. Let her rip, my friend. I don't even know what that technique is, like the tremolo on the trumpet. Sound off, bro. It's like a Rashawn Carter Dave swag masterclass. Then you sprinkle in there Tim and the slides from Stefan. And I heard like a lot of violin in this too, but I actually didn't see a camera shot of Boyd. And in 2013, Boyd would still be a part of the band, so I'm not sure why the camera never panned him. Here's a wider shot. Is that him? They're not zooming in close enough. Okay, so Boyd is there. Yeah. They just never like really did a close-up of him for whatever reason. Yeah, this is a good song. I think it's just better live in this version that I heard. Something about the studio version now, if I'm thinking in retrospect, it's a little too polished, a little too like in time, if that makes sense for Dave Matthews Band standards, which is crazy to say because of course they have the perfect capability to be in perfect time, but that's not what makes them cool. What makes them cool is that they can do whatever they want to, whenever they want to, and they give us, the listener, enough credit to be able to pick up on all of these nuances as they throw them our way. Part of it's novelty, part of it is also their own creative expression, but it bears out in a way that is very trusting of the listener. And this is something that I think we need to start doing in all mediums, not only just songwriting and music and different arts, but just in all avenues of life. Let's start giving people a little bit more credit to learn the difficult things rather than like dumbing them down. Though it's useful to speak in ways that are simple, and I do even my best to try to simplify the complex thoughts that I may have, but also we shouldn't shy away from complexity because most people won't understand it. You're just creating that self-fulfilling prophecy then, because if you think most people won't understand, then you don't do anything to help them understand. It's self-perpetuating, right? So why not move the needle in a direction, like give the child a little bit more responsibility, a little bit harder of a challenge in school, and then see what they can do with it, and keep that merry-go-round going. I don't know how we ended up here, but that's all good with me. Let's check out the last track of the day. Monsters. I love songs that are called Monsters. Or Monster. A lot of good songs with that title.
little kid, everything I did just to see Paper Queen. 'Cause love won't let me go.
This feels like it belongs in the Lily White sessions.
Yeah, no arm is gonna save my soul.
The subtle electric guitar, almost like Captain.
Let me go. Nothing in the closet, nothing underneath the bed, just the monsters in your head. I hear strange voices with every
I love this one too.
step I take. They say you can't cross the ocean if you can't get past the break, even if fear won't put you down.
Great melody.
Oh, won't you lean on me while I'm around? Yeah, no rope to hang the dam, no line to save the drowning man, just the monsters in your head. Nothing in the closet, nothing underneath the bed, just the monsters in your head.
It's all machinations of the mind.
Killer's eyes and painted faces. The devil wants your soul, but Jesus saves. The traffic jam is an angry place. The devil wants your soul, but Jesus saves.
It's all perspective, right? I love that.
Shoot some ladders, pick up sticks,
dude,
counting cars.
This is like, yeah, all the makings of a song you may find on Lily White Sessions, but it has that Dave Matthews Band in 2020's maturity that obviously like the production in Lily White Sessions compared to what we're hearing live, and there's going to be differences there, but this just feels more mature. I love that they're allowing the lyrics to breathe, allow the vibe to really settle in, and then they lean into it just a little bit more than you may expect to, and it just works, man. And then it gives you time to contemplate the lyrics as well, and then all of our own projection onto the lyrics and the emotional gravitas and their performance in Dave's singing. It always works. It's like a very unique but perfect recipe. I haven't done much cooking lately, so I don't have any examples off the top of my mind. But if you can imagine abstractly, when you have like a certain recipe book that you constantly draw from in your own life and you're consistent with what you cook in the kitchen, then all of a sudden you decide to venture out into a different world with more subtle flavors. All of a sudden you've created that recipe, you taste it, you kind of love it, but you don't understand why. And that exists now in its own silo, separate to your current recipe book and material. I don't think that was a correct analogy to use here. I kind of get lost in the sauce there. I think I'm just hungry. Let's jump back into the music.
Shoot some ladders, pick up sticks, counting cars, counting bricks, driving past an old 5 and dime. You can't.
The point is that because of these subtle flavors that exist in the newfound track, you can kind of start to observe them and find them in what they were doing prior, but now they're just exaggerating those, let's say, prior tastes that you had heard, that you had been familiar with in the past, but now it's in a more subtle but palatable way. It's enriched in that sense. You distilled some of the more complex tastes from which you were already accustomed to, and put them out into something more, maybe more professional. Like Michelin stars. That still may not make sense, but now I cleared my brain.
Nothing in the closet, nothing underneath the bed, just the monsters in your head. monsters in your head.
Oh. Into the Tim solo. Slow-moving grass underneath the Tim shred. Love that pairing. Oh, Dave is swelling. Yeah. Dude, chills, man. Yeah. It's one hell of a recipe. Because even with songs that are like even more subtle at the outset, like Monsters, they grow into something that peaks higher than the dishes that you're familiar with. And I promise I'm not going to continue with the attempts at food analogies and music anymore. But man, that was a great way to end it. I think Craig knows like the style of Dave Matthews Band songs I like. So he'll end up like putting them in the order of what is the most epic by the end of these like triple reactions, which, you know, let me know if I'm predicting your own ordering there, Craig. Where do I land on these three songs? I think we started off on a really high note in terms of melody, in terms of feel, with somewhere the space between. Really like the lyrics in that one. So, and honestly, I feel like very similarly about Monsters. I think qualitatively they're a bit different in the peaks of the songs. But honestly, like normally I'm able to like definitively state my like clear favorite of the three or two that we hear. But today I'm like torn, I'm torn between the space between and Monsters for first place. I think Rooftop unfortunately just takes third because of how good these two are. I think the high moment in Monsters is high enough, but I don't think it's as high enough to catapult it above the space between. I think I connected more with the space between, but Monsters, I think it's like the kind of song you listen to, you know, 3 more times and it would be right up there too. But it's almost like a 1A, 1B situation. But, you know, if I had to do it like probabilistically, then I would say maybe 52% of the time the space between wins, and what is the math? The other 48% of the time is Monsters. I don't think Rooftop really nudges either of those two out of first and second. But hey, it makes the podium, which may not mean much in the context of 3 songs. Anyways, I digress. Let me know what you all thought about these 3 tracks today in the comments below. I hope you at least enjoyed the reaction. If you did and would like to make a Dave Matthews Band request yourself, or any other band or artist for that matter, you can always do so by clicking the first link in the description box below, which is the best way to support my channel. But as always, my friends, have a wonderful rest of your day. Take care and peace.